All right, so I'm back up at Bear Ridge, and today we're gonna take on something a little bit different, and we'll also check out the progress of what we did down there before. But let me show you what we're working with today. In pictures and videos, this just doesn't, you can't really tell what you're looking at here. But when you get up close, you realize, and I have pretty big hands. Look at the size of this blade. So that's 8 inches across, 5/8 thick. I think that this plate in the middle is about 3/4 inch. I think it's 3/4. Pretty darn close if it isn't. I had to put a tape measure on it. And I think I saw somewhere these blades weigh like 25 pounds a piece. And I believe they're carbide steel. And they're double-sided. So there are, let's see if the other one will come up. Well, there are 3 of them on here and on this triangle. And there's also this, I don't know how well you can see it up in here. Hopefully the lighting is good enough. There is also the, like a wire cutter type thing, collector, so that when you come across, places where you're picking up wire or other stupid things that are in the woods and in the bushes and the trees that you're cutting, this thing protects it real well, it looks like, from collecting on there, and hopefully bust it up before it can tangle you up. So pretty impressive. I believe the whole housing itself is 1/4 inch steel. As you can see, it's gusseted everywhere. Look at these things, all in here and here. Yeah, it's a beast. It's an absolute beast, and I had a heck of a time getting it on here with the tractor. But hopefully the skid steer will have no problem getting it off. And so this is the Rut Manufacturing. They're out of North Carolina, not too far from me. I almost drove down there and did a video of the manufacturing facility, but I just didn't really have time. And they do free delivery in the continental U.S., I believe. So anyway, this is set up for my machine is not a high flow machine, so this is set up for a 22 gallons per minute motor on this thing, and it's I forgot what brand. Hopefully you can see what motor it has on it. I can't read it from here, but it's supposed to be really well made. I believe they're all made. Everything's made in America. Like I said, this the bush cutter itself is made in North Carolina, and everything looks really, really nice. It came with everything you need. It's got the H connector in here to handle the flow, so you don't need a bypass or whatever they call that, the third, although I do have it on the Bobcat. But so this thing is an absolute beast. Yeah, there's the manufacturer information. It's the SSBC72. So I don't know yet if I went too big. I always feel like I not go too small, but I regret going smaller. So I went big, but man, I'm telling you, this thing is so heavy, so awkward, and it doesn't look that big. But remember, this trailer is 6 feet across, and it takes up every bit of it. Barely fit on here. I was worried I was going to have to get my deck over trailer, but I measured it out, and it just fits inside. So it's a 72. This is a 72 inch. I believe that's the blade setup. I think it's 78 inches across and all. So, like I said, I watched several videos of this, which is partly why I got it, and I saw pictures of it, of course. But in person, it just seems so much more huge and daunting. So, anyway. This is what we're up to today. We're going to try this thing out. Supposedly it'll cut up to 7 inches around. I'm not going to try to do anything quite that big, but certainly, the little bush hog I have on the tractor, you get to something that was anything over 3/4 of an inch, and you end up breaking a shear bolt. Well, this thing will tear through all that and much more. So before we can get started with that, though, we're going to first have to fix the mess that I made when I broke off the coupler. And so I went ahead and bought, in fact, I went and bought both a male and a female because I figured that this other one looked like it was missing a protective ring inside here. So I'll pull this one off and keep it as a spare. But yeah, we're going to replace both of those and then add a little more hydraulic fluid to this thing, and then we'll get hooking up to the Terminator. Holy smoke, that thing is just a beast. So yeah, I'm excited. Welcome to TWC Projects, and let's get started on today's project. All right, so I'm loving this transfer tank. That was, let's see, a little over 13 gallons, 13.3 gallons, and a little over a minute. I'll put a timer on it, I guess, when I do the video so you can see how long it actually was. But this thing works really well. So, of course, I added this stuff on, and when I did, they weren't an exact fit, so there's still a little bit of leakage, but just dripping a little bit. So no worries with that. It's pretty good now. And I just, of course, hook it onto this battery rather than, there's enough cord there. I probably could take it right to the front of the truck if I forgot the battery at one point. But this thing holds 55 gallons, and I put 30 in it yesterday, and you saw it was a bit above, just a little above half. And then it's down, not quite to a quarter yet, but it's nice. It has the gauge right on there too, so I have kind of a sense of what's in the tank. Of course, it weighs a little bit, but you know, all liquids do. So, all right, let's see if we can get this thing off the trailer and put it to work. Try it out. I'm excited. Let's go. All right, so it's been a week since we were out here last, and you can see it's starting to grow already. We did have a couple of rains, so let's see how the drainage is working. Well, it's looking good over here, but we're still a little wet right here, which is interesting because this is where we put the pipe work, the additional pipe work. So maybe I'm going to pull back. I must have gotten some of the clay mud in there still, but everything else is looking pretty good. Like, it's not building up here anymore. So I think this is our last area to hit. As you can see, the stone is almost at the surface, so that's got to be helping. And this stuff that I brought down, that's the bomb, I think. I think the other soil that I had down here was just so oversaturated already and had such a high clay content. But look at, you can see the stuff that I put down clearly right here, right along, and this is above the pipe. So I'm gonna put some more over here, and I'm just gonna kind of try to build this up a bit so I don't have any low spots anymore with that good dirt from above, because that seems to it's much more porous. It seems to be letting the water through, and things are looking really good down here. Wow. I mean, you could tell in that last video I was a little bit disappointed and a little concerned that it was a waste of people's time to watch me fail, but I'm thinking maybe I didn't fail so badly, and it was, it is certainly spring. It is still April, going into March. So, yeah, let's see what's coming out down here. Yeah, there's some coming out down there. All right. Well, that is encouraging. I'm very encouraged. And I'm learning something for sure. So clearly bringing in good dirt that's much more porous. Now that I've got the field tile style drainage system in here, I think that's going to work. So this area here, which is where I think, I don't know. Yeah, this is the only area that's left that I didn't really quite handle. Maybe I'll just put more stone down and then just put a bunch of dirt on top of here, because I don't know if you can see the contour very well, but it's a bit wavy here still anyway. So I've definitely got room to bring in more dirt and keep clearing off by the edge of the driveway up there. So we'll do that again soon. Today though, we're going to try out this Terminator. Rut Mfg Terminator. It's a beast. They make an XP model as well, which is a bit more expensive. Has a bunch of mulchers on it, but this thing seems like it's pretty beastly without the mulchers, and I just didn't want to spend the extra money. But I don't know if we're going to do it today. I'll probably start at the upper field, but I might try it to clear all this stuff back. I mean, this is just this is all 1 inch stuff, 1.5, and I think it'll just chew that stuff up without any problem. So maybe we'll open it up just a little bit more, because we got a little bit more flat area here before it pitches up to where the pine trees are. So, man, yeah, this is looking good. Pretty happy with this. I'm just so pleased the way this is coming together. Like I said, when I first bought this property, this was just jungle. You couldn't really walk through here. I mean, it was thick. It was like this. This is exactly what everything was. You couldn't even walk through it. You were into thorns, you were into everything, and not very human friendly, we'll say. Maybe it's good for some animals. I like it, and there's plenty more of it, by the way. Don't worry, I'm not hurting the animal habitat at all. I mean, it's going to be just awesome. I'm so excited. I'm hoping this year I can actually get to the point where I'm all prepared to break ground next year and start to see a house come about. But in the meantime, I'm enjoying learning how to use all this equipment. That's part of my retirement plan, which is why I'm gradually, slowly buying the things that I think I'll need to be able to run a small business part-time once I retire. And so that's kind of my way of investing rather than the stock market, which I've been not really happy with. So, and I've never done well in the stock market. So this is something that so far, especially when I repair and rebuild some of these machines, they're worth more when I'm done with them than they were when I bought them. And they hold their value for quite a while, especially, you know, one like this with low hours, 1,800 hours, and it's just in absolutely excellent shape. I think the most expensive thing I'll have to do to it will eventually replace the tracks because they're 20 years old. But right now, most everything else is, you know, minor things. As you saw, the coupler, that was my mistake breaking that off. But and I've updated everything else. So let's go push it a little bit. This is the first time I run it harder. That's why I wanted to fill it up with gas to not only have the extra weight in the back because it has a 30-gallon tank, but also because I know I'm going to be burning a lot more gas running this thing. And it was a little bit of a trick figuring out how to get this thing running because the manual in the book says that the female is the pressurized line, which is what I understood would run this thing clockwise, and I knew it needed to run clockwise. And I had a bit of trouble until I finally figured out that I needed to reverse the flow, and then the thing started working great. So we're gonna push it a little bit up at the top of the hill, and you'll see what we got there. Maybe I can send the drone up too and show you the before and maybe after or during, something like that. We'll see what happens. So let's get to it. I'm going to decide how big I want to open this up. I don't need it to be too big, but I need to be able to manage it so that going forward when I move out here and I need a place for a little bit of a pasture or a bigger garden area, I'll have a space to do it. It'll require a lot of work to get it conditioned for that, but we're going to clear all this up today. All this, everything, at least the smaller stuff. So this thing will clear it for me. I just can't get over how huge it is. You saw me coming down through the trails. It barely fit between the trees. It is wider. It's probably about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch wider than the tracks themselves, which truthfully is probably perfect, honestly. That's why I got that size. To fit the machine, but it's big, it's intimidating, but I'm getting the hang of it, and just getting, you know, I can't even, it's so smooth and so quiet when the machine is running, at least. You can't tell whether it's running or not. I have to kind of look at the hoses and see if they're you know, uptight or they're loose, because I started to come in here and realized the blade weren't, you know, I must have hit the trigger and accidentally turned it off from inside when I was coming up the hill. So I'll have to probably run it again when I go back down to clear up some of this little stuff that's been shooting up through. But this is the road you saw in a previous video. And yeah, it's just too far probably for the camera to see. But right out on the hill is where the house will be. So it'll be able to see right up to here. And it'll be pretty cool. So, all right, let's keep going. All right, this is going really well. I'm gonna take a look at one of these blades. I don't even see a nick in that thing. Maybe there's another one. I mean, I hit a massive rock. No, shoot, I'm getting caught in thorns. I hit a massive rock over here. Here it is. Yeah, this one I hit. And I don't know how. Yeah, you can see. I definitely hit it with the blade. And, I mean, well, I've got size 12 feet. Those are probably 13-inch boots, so you get a sense of how big that rock is. I don't know how much time I spent. Maybe 30 minutes, maybe 40 with the fussing around with the drone that wasn't working right, and the and all the camera movement and stuff. So, but hopefully I got enough footage that you can see what that thing can do. It's a beast. So I even just for fun decided to kind of just cut down through the woods for a minute, see how it does with cutting trails, which I probably could have cut down some of the sides too here, but no problem. Right out through the woods here, well, kind of woods. And these are the trees, remember, that were all 3 feet tall when I bought this property a few years ago. I should have cut down more when I had the chance, but that's all right. Yeah, came right out through here. No problem. So I think I'm gonna take a break for lunch and then come back out and cut the property line, and or at least make some progress on that. We'll see. And then I gotta, let's see what time it is. Oh, it's almost 1 o'clock, so I definitely need to get some lunch. But yeah, this thing's working really well. I guess I need to take that, clean some of the limbs a little bit more, but ground-wise, and you saw me take down some pretty good sized trees here too, which again, I was trying not to abuse the thing, but it demolished. I mean, you can see there's nothing left. I mean, big chunks. It's not like a mulcher, but it's also, a quarter of the cost of a mulcher, or far less than that. One sixth of the cost of a mulcher. But yeah, this is not small stuff. And somewhere I took down a stump too that was kind of big, because it's hard to get around out here. But man, it just cleaned it up. Yeah, I can't even see now where some of these were, but so that's about 4.5 or 5. The pine, no problem going through it. The oak, you got to go a little easier. That oak is hard. But yeah, I mean, just that's what's left. I mean, this one was a little harder too because I had 3 of them combined. So I kind of figured if I could attack one at a time, and then it worked a little bit better. But I probably should come back a little bit one more time and tighten up. I was trying not to get too tight to the ground though, because I know there's a lot of big old oak stumps out here. As if you've been watching me for a long time, you'll know when I first cleared this field that that was one of the things I had to deal with. So yeah, that thing's a beast. Look at that thing. It's awesome. I love it. All right, let's break, go get some lunch, and then we'll come let this thing cool down a little bit and go for a walk up to the truck and get back to it. All right, well, I think the video is going to have to be wrapped up at this point here, and I'll tell you why. It's been an absolutely perfect, beautiful day. Everything was really good up until I caught a stump or something somewhere and came off the track. And I do not have my grease gun with me today. I have some tools back at the truck, which is a hike from here, but I don't have the grease gun, which is what I would need to make this thing move in a little bit to get the track back on, and then tension it back up properly. And I kind of knew it's been on my list to check the tensioning on the tracks. They looked okay to me, but I really should have been a little bit more careful. So now it's stuck here in the woods. I'm sure it'll be safe here, but and not too far. That is the area up there that I was clearing earlier. So I was starting to cut my property line, and I got to about this point and I could feel something was off, and luckily I stopped before the track came completely off, which would have been much worse. So I think that's gonna be it. So thanks for coming along this journey with me, helping me to create things, fix things, and enjoy God's amazing creation outside. And I couldn't have asked for a more perfect day today. It's just spectacular. And anyway, this new Rut Manufacturing Terminator brush tree cutter is really doing a great job. And I put it through its paces a little bit, getting used to it. Still getting used to the machine too, so all good. But yeah, I'm gonna have to, I guess it'll be next week before I'm back at this again, because I've got to, hopefully, if I can get the thing back on the track, right here in the middle of the woods, I should be able to, since it didn't come all the way off. So hopefully I can, I don't know, I might have to bring the excavator out to try to lift it, take some of the weight off of it, and see if I can jack it up at all. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I always do. I'm always learning. That's the kind of the point of this channel. In addition to creating things, fixing things, and enjoying God's creation outside, it's constant learning, and that's okay. I love it. It's keeping me young. So until next time, have a fantastic week, and I will see you on the next project.